Good day, it's me, Egil the Viking, warrior, Scot, roadcaster, generally I'm a mercenary. Welcome to our weekly vlog 18. Don't forget, tap on there so that we can get your comments, and if you want to subscribe as well. I'll be honest with you, I don't know where Bragi is today. He should be here, but you know how it is. So we'll carry on if we can without him and see how we... Hello, something's stirring in the jungle.
Oh, hello, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm doing a vlog for our viewers.
Is it vlog time, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know we're doing a vlog today.
I don't know.
What vlog is it?
18.
18, I just down the middle.
And you just sat in a wet pool of water.
Yeah. I just passed me old. You can always tell his house or the sheep.
Alright. That's for Tyke here. What about his house?
Lots of drumming and loud music as always.
Yeah, and lots of bushes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, well.
he's into his gardening and got lots of plants on the go at the moment.
That's
the
something
garden.
I didn't really want to know. Anyway, so you've been down the middle without me.
Well, I did come round your long house, but you weren't in.
Alright.
Was you sitting here waiting for me?
Well, I was in and then I went somewhere and I came back and then I'm here.
Oh.
But, yeah.
Well,
So,
hello and welcome, and if you don't know, I am Bragi. And this, as Egor said, is the weekly Viking vlog, number 18. So, what have you been up to in the last 4 weeks since we've not been filming?
Well,
I'll tell you why in a minute.
It's been a bit of a busy time for me. Let's just say I'm having words with the government to try and get them to give me some money.
Go.
I've got to finish that off tomorrow. Touch wood.
There's some wood there, look for you.
Touch wood.
On my axe handle.
Yeah. That will be
I
sorted.
wonder if the Vikings ever said that.
I don't know, that's probably where it came from, I don't know. My brother-in-law called round, dropped some apples and pears off. I saw my sister and nephew last week, and apart from that, that's about it really.
Have you been anywhere nice? You've been to York.
Oh,
Up here.
right, yeah, I went to York. It was a bit fraught actually. Normally...
York is fraught.
Yeah, well, where the race course is, some clever spark decided to have a balloon rally.
Oh.
Hot air balloons. Well, from Tesco into Clifford's Tower, normally takes about quarter of an hour. Well, it was over an hour and the traffic was solid. We got in there was nothing much to see. Had a Subway sandwich,
Jolly nice.
bought a cigar, and we walked it back. And we passed.
Not from York to Derby.
Well, no.
Oh, thank God for that. I thought it was that. That's a very long way.
Probably could, but it'd take me about 5 days. But walked back, got in the van, and back to good old Derby. So we'll try again next time. It'll be better.
I was thinking about walking the other day, you know,
All right.
before I do my channel post update.
Mm.
And I was thinking about, you know, when 1066, when they have to walk all that distance, the Saxons, you know, you have to go up north for you know, Stamford Bridge and Battle of Fulford, and then they had to come all the way back down south to the Battle of Hastings. And, you know, what, they was marching, 40, 50 miles a day?
Couldn't do that. The most I could walk is 20 miles, and I'm not carrying a male shirt and sword.
Yeah. But what I was thinking is that, well, surely men must have dropped dead on the way. It's just exhaustion. So,
The thing I don't get, you're in the River Ouse in York, you get in a ship, go out from down the Ouse into the North Sea, sail down, or at least part of the way, it saves your legs.
yeah,
And you
but
get there
did they
quicker.
have enough ships? Probably not.
Yeah.
But what was the state of the Navy back in the day?
If your name's King Harold, mate, you'd do a Dunkirk and grab anything and everything.
Well, naturally so, but
But hey,
that didn't happen,
No.
unfortunately.
like, if my auntie had a beard, she'd be my uncle. but
Yeah,
she
she said
hasn't.
that before.
Yeah. I'll
I
say
never
it
met
again.
you, Auntie. I'm curious. Was she in some kind of a freak show if she had a beard?
My late auntie looked a lot like Charles Hawtrey from the Carry On films.
Oh.
A thin guy with the
Yeah,
glasses.
yeah. It was so funny he was.
Yeah.
I was watching Carry On Camping the other night and he's in it.
That's him. That
Yeah.
looks just like when you see him dressed up in Carry On Nurse
Yeah.
as a woman. That looks just like my Aunt Dorothy.
Well, they are very good film, the Carry On
Oh, yeah.
films. It's It's a pity they didn't do a carry-on Viking or something.
Yeah, but
That would have been good. Well, in a bad way.
yeah, but I mean, the Roman one with the carry on Cleo.
Cleo.
That was
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
I big as dickers.
yeah. When he got the snake,
Yeah.
he said, "Oh, it's lethal." And bit the head off. And, yeah, I'm not surprised. It tastes horrible. It's the old ones are the good ones. So, what's been shaking in your life?
Well, it's been a bit of a last month. I've not really had much chance to film, and I apologise about that. But I have been trying to keep up with publishing some content. About a month back again, my dad ended up in hospital. And then after that, I had a very bad frozen shoulder because I've been having to lift my dad up. I was in a lot of pain. And then the last couple of weeks, I think I've had some kind of bug because I just had no energy and aches and pains and just generally not feeling energetic to do anything. And that's not like me.
Lethargic is the word.
Yeah, so I think I've had some kind of a bug, and so I've been working on ideas and trying to organise the structure of how we research a bit better, which is good.
Well, I mean, looking after an elderly parent, I've done it myself, and they don't run to a timetable.
No, they don't know. Neither do the carers some days.
No, and of course injuries can occur,
Those that visit.
like lifting.
Yes.
You get strain injuries from that, and also it gets inside your head after a while. You know, you can be as nice as you like, but inside, oh man. it
Well,
can get
yes,
to you.
you know, it can be mentally straining.
Yeah.
You know, we continue to be asked the same questions all day. One of my favourite questions my dad always asks me is, "Have you had any food yet?" And I'll be asked that 20, 30 times in a day. You
Yeah.
know, and although I'm quite an honest person, I don't like lying. It's just better some days to just say, "Yeah, I've had my dinner."
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that's why we've not been doing so much content. And it's not just that; it's just that some days when you're on YouTube and you're working on a YouTube channel, there's so much you've got to figure out and learn and do. It just can be overwhelming. So I think I also had an effect of that where I needed to charge my batteries to build up for the next stage of putting content onto YouTube, because
It's called having a life.
Oh, yes.
You know, I mean, you don't want to be, with all due respect, you don't want to be doing this 24/7.
oh no,
Because you've got to look after your dad and get stir
because
crazy.
you're not careful, because it's such this is very addictive, I don't you
Yeah.
find it addictive doing this?
I do. Once I get going, it's there. You know.
And you want to do more and more and film more. It is.
Well, we want it to be a success.
What too right? Yes, and it will be.
Yeah, and it's up to the people out there. And so far, touch wood, they're doing very well indeed.
Well, we currently at 399 subs.
That's great.
So we're one sub away from 400.
So,
Putting my mug down on the floor without spilling my water.
pretty smile, 400.
Yes. And when I get to about 403, 404 subs, I'll put out the sub special. And in fact, you may even have 2 sub specials this time, because we love you so much. So
This is about certain amphibious avian variety. So,
yes, the duck of evil. Well, you'll see that in the this 400 sub shout outs, and that's an amazing achievement, you know, because your first 1,000 subs are often said to be the most hardest subs to get on YouTube. So.
We've had a great response, so a big thank you
Oh
there.
yes, was hail.
Last sale.
Good hope to you.
Yeah, and I don't spill mine. This is only water.
It is
by the way.
water. Mine's filtered. Eggles is not.
That's the fluoride, mate. It's a bit late though.
Yeah.
That's the joke, right? They said they put fluoride in your water to make your teeth good. I've got a nice black one, I've got gap. Oh, you don't want that.
Yeah, well, let's not get into fluoridisation of the water system, because that is quite a controversial subject to talk about.
Well, if I smile, I'll look like a piano.
You know, soft kill and everything, but, you know, not here to talk about such subjects.
Yeah, well.
But it does make you think. I mean, we often talk about dentistry back in the dark ages. There's old Eggle, and he's got a bit of toothache. You know, one night, what does he do? You know, you can't go to the emergency dentist. He's, you know,
well, they get a wire.
they get a hot wad, don't they?
Yeah, heat it up, get you drunk, or alternatively, if you leave, this is something I found with me, toothache only lasts 3 days. So if you can, like it's a good excuse to knock some brandy.
Yeah, well, previously when I've had toothache, I could use clove oil, and that really does work wonders.
And you can get temporary filling kits from Boots.
Well, of course, it would have been about back in the day, as we are Dark Age themed. it would have been about what money you had. If you had more money, you could probably afford better, you know, medicine and
I'm sure somebody
you know, a
along
wiser woman to come round.
I'm sure somebody realised that if you've got a hole in the tooth and you plug it, that stops it.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. But generally, the teeth of the Vikings, the only way you get is where they've had stone ground bread. If you look at the skeleton of Folklore in Roud Centre, the teeth have got little black dots, and that's where the abrasive bits of stone have worn the top of the teeth down. Eventually they all become infected and, well, but they usually tended to die before that happened.
Well, I suppose if you lived as a Viking or Saxon and you had good teeth all your life, you're lucky.
Well, most people, it's only since the introduction of sugar that we've had tooth decay. Looking at skeletons from Iron Age right back, their teeth are perfect. And it's when you get to the Tudor period, you see the giveaway, it's called caries. It's like when Queen Elizabeth I, her teeth were black because she loved sugar. She put sugar in wine and chocolate. Oh, she loved it.
She could afford it too.
But it was a drinking chocolate rather than a bar of. But unfortunately, we've got used to sugar, and that's why our teeth are appalling. Mine especially.
Well, you don't go to the dentist, that don't really help.
Well,
I know you say dentists are doing you more harm,
yeah,
and sometimes they can do, but
yeah. Well, it's just I've had 3 dentists in a row
Yes.
caused me problems, so
it's amazing how many people don't like to go to the dentist.
it don't bother me. It's just that I don't see the sense in going and having my teeth messed around to have terrible tooth trouble later on. I could do that without them.
What I always find amazing about a dentist is that how quickly your mouth aches when you've got your mouth open. But yet you go home and you try opening your mouth for 5 minutes, it does not ache.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Well, it's
You know, you do this like at home.
probably a bit of stress, I should imagine.
Well, I don't get stressed because I don't really get stressed from the dentist. I mean,
Dentists don't bother me, but it's just that I think the ones I've had, all I can say is the ones
Yes.
I've had have not done their job properly.
you just had bad luck dentist.
3 in a row though, really.
Well, things winning threes, and that's often the theme about folklore.
Yeah.
And very interesting, that's the next subject we're going to talk about. Folklore and folk tales.
Go on then.
As we do love folk tales on this channel,
Really do.
and you know, we've told quite a few now, and I think we should celebrate how many we have on the channel. You know, yay!
Yeah.
So yeah, it is great. I mean, and what's your favourite type of folk tales to tell? Now that you're slowly beginning to learn folk tales.
I like the funny ones where I can
the jocular, I'll call them.
I can show off, that's what it's all about. Then I can do silly voices, and I like things like that. I mean, we did one the other day about the smoking sack.
The sack of lime. You did a version of
Yeah.
that one for the channel.
Yeah.
This is about it's an English folk tale about a man who was with a horse and cart. Because I can remember all these folk tales. And he's riding along the horse and cart, and he's got all these sacks of lime. He's been out that morning to go and buy some. Got some, you know, silver shillings. He's probably got some barns to paint or a longhouse, whatever. So he's going along, and I think what happens is one of them starts to smoulder, and he starts to think, well, what's going on here?
Yeah, get some water on it, that's what.
Yes, well, this is what happens next,
Yeah.
because our man is not too clever, and he thinks, well, I'm going to get some water, and he starts getting his hat, and he goes down to the stream under the bridge. Luckily there's no troll under there, and he starts pouring the water. I can just imagine the man running backwards and forwards with water, the water slowly dripping out of his hat and pouring it on the lime, and the smoke getting bigger and the water putting more on, and eventually he decides to throw it in the stream, and he kind of ruins the sack of lime, and that's his income.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think he had a horse and cart. I think he had a mule with 2 sacks on the back.
I had a talking animal anyway,
But this is also very similar to another English folk tale of a young maiden who was one day walking back, and she had like a bucket, and she was carrying all these apples. And she'd been to the orchard, been picking apples all day, and perhaps she wanted to make some scrumpy. And on the way back, she was quite joyful and happy, and she was dancing along. with the
like
bucket
me.
on her head.
A bit like me when Mick gave me some apples.
Yeah, and suddenly all the apples started going all over the road, and they all started running around, and some went into the stream, and some ran down a hill, and she lost all her apples. So, but yeah, we're not told that one yet on the channel.
Here's
It's
one.
based
I'd
on
like to say thank you to my sister, my brother-in-law and my nephew. Thanks for the apples and pears. They're most welcome.
Oh, right.
That's fantastic.
He would like some more one day.
Oh, yeah.
Sometime next year.
Yeah. Okay. So, what's next?
No, we're still talking about folklore.
Oh,
The
right,
vlog,
go
we
on
talk
then.
about things.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
this is how vlogs work.
Yeah.
So go on. Talk about folklore and folktales.
Folklore. Well, it's amazing how actual information can be passed through folklore.
Yes.
Fairy tales. Also, it's at a time when paganism is being taken over by Christianity, and certain things can be passed through stories that would not be acceptable if you just said it outright. Things like Cinderella and stuff like that. And it's a useful way of communicating. Not only that, but things like, you know, Little Red Riding Hood. Don't go through the woods on your own because the wolf will get you. You know, we forget because we don't have wolves anymore here. But we're getting in zoos. But this is something that people forget. 1,000 years ago, like when we were doing the Vikings, if you went in the woods, you've got brown bears, you've got wild boar, you've got wolves, and more to the point, wild
Beavers.
cats. Well, wild cats.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen a Scotch wild cat. There is, I don't know whether it's true, I heard that a knight in full armour would go through the woods on his horse, took his helmet off, and a cat just dropped on him from the trees and killed him.
Well, they are fishes, you know, and do attack the jugular.
Oh yeah. Well, one I saw was cheerfully munching his way through a bunny rabbit at the zoo, and like a big tabby.
I hope you don't keep rabbits and cats together in the same cage.
Well, not for long.
That'll be entertaining.
But he was sort of looking at me and saying, "Come on then, I dare you." There was some Scots wild cats.
Yeah.
Get your cock in the head.
Now, I think in a recent comment we had from one of our new subscribers, Celtic God, it was on about folktales, and it was on about how amazing how they've all got these very sudden, abrupt endings. And it's very true, isn't it? They do.
Yeah.
You know, they get to the point at the end and bang, the story's over.
Well, I suppose it's because they're trying to tell you something. Once it's been said, like that one, they fell off the meat bench drunk. Who knows? But I think it's likely there's so much information they wanted to give you, and once they've done that, no point in wasting time talking.
Because it makes you think, well, how do folk tales come about? You know, who
Yeah.
started the folk tale? Now, is the folk tale based on a true story and somebody heard the true story, or at the event, so then that story got told? Or is there somebody in a longhouse whose name is Olaf, for instance, we often use that name in examples, and who's sitting there creating folk tales? Is it a mixture of both? I guess it is both.
It could be a way parents teach their children. Going back to Little Red Riding Hood, if I said to an 8-year-old or whatever, 5-year-old, don't go out in the woods, the wolf will get you. And they'll think, yeah, whatever.
Well, a typical example of this is the boggart, and how in the boggart, which is a 16th century term, you know, when at around about the time when we was discovering America, well, discovering America in the 6th century, although it's already been discovered by the Vikings, of course.
Yeah.
And we talk about that lots in our videos. How the fact that the boggart went and changed to the boogeyman, and that travelled to America, and then that, you know,
Yeah, it's a booger man,
although it was referring to a different creature, because naturally in America they're referring to Bigfoot. But naturally in our country it's more like a small troll creature, you know.
But it's things like if you want to teach your children to be careful, because let's face it, it's not only animals out there, there's bands of bandits as well.
Well, yes, of course.
So
there was dangerous times.
If you dress it up as a story, especially you've got a little girl there, you talk about Little Red Riding Hood, she can identify with that, and she will know, oh, this apple was a Red Riding Hood, I best wait until I've got somebody to come with me.
And if you're sitting in your longhouse, would story telling be a regular thing?
Oh yeah,
Or would it happen every day or every week, or would it be on occasions?
Think about when you come in from work, you've had your dinner and you sit in front of the telly. What they would do, they would probably...
Oh, it's the same thing, isn't it,
yeah,
really?
It's, you know, come on Grandad, tell us the one about... Mum, what about this one? It should be... The thing about the Vikings and history, people of the past, they'd always be doing something. My granny used to say she'd always be knitting or sewing, anything to keep things moving. And while she did it, she would tell you that life was like when she was a girl. Oh, they could tell you stories, and that's how they develop.
But it's one of the oldest traditions in the world, storytelling.
Still goes on today,
Yes,
you know.
and this is why we're doing it, to keep the tradition going, and it's very important. I also find it very interesting how in Britain we have really no tales about werewolves, and our equivalent to the werewolf is the dogman, which doesn't even compare with a werewolf. I find it fascinating, that.
I still think the werewolf legend came up. You had the berserkers who dressed in bear skins, and there were people dressed in wolf skins. Whether that's the origin of it, I don't know.
Well, from a Dark Age point of view, maybe, but certainly there were certainly rumours of being werewolves in the UK, but they was all basically referring in the medieval times to the sightings in Francia. So
there is a disease, lycanthropy.
yes, there is.
Because this is how the Beauty and the Beast story started.
Oh yes.
There was a prince who had a massive hair. He had hair all over him. He was married to a princess, and they got on very well and had loads and loads of children. But that's how Beauty and the Beast started. So, you know, they can be based on true events, phenomena, spirits, whatever. It shows the ingenuity of the human mind.
Oh, it does.
You know.
When you think about some of the fantastic stories that have been created in the last few years, you know, from Harry Potter to the Game of Thrones, you know, so watch out for those White Walkers. Oh yes.
I've not watched any of that.
Game of Thrones is brilliant, and I think at some point we're going to review some of the trailers, because I think that would be...
I'd love to
I know
see
it's not
it.
really Dark Age in theme, but I think it's a fantastic series, and I think our audience and our fans would love us to review a trailer on their series.
Staying with a friend in London, and she put Game of Thrones on, but she got a bit upset when the sex scenes were, and she fast forwarded them.
There's a lot of them in it,
Yeah.
definitely.
It looked like a porno Benny Hill.
Yes, well, it is an 18-rated TV series.
But I'd like to see it anyway.
It's a brilliant series. I've seen it a few times now, because it's that good.
The only one I've seen is where Sean Bean gets his head chopped off.
Well, Sean Bean has a tradition of dying in lots of films.
Yeah.
In fact, if you go to YouTube and just type in Sean Bean death scenes, you'll probably see a compilation video of Sean Bean dying in films.
Yeah,
and he's a great actor.
Yeah, I like Sean Bean.
I was watching Shot the other day.
It just wouldn't have happened.
Well, no.
He'd have made Staff Sergeant, Sergeant Major.
Well, of course I would.
No way he'd have been a colonel. Not
No.
in those times.
No,
But,
probably not.
as I say, it's a good story. Watch it.
It was a good TV series, and it was a good series for bringing reenactment to the masses.
Yeah.
You know.
I actually, when I did a film, there was the artillerymen were actually in the shop, were chatting away to them.
Tighten my belt up on my sword.
Well, of course, yeah. See what I have to put up. Another tenner, I could have got Kirk Douglas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, no, I might look at
It'll cost you at least 11 quid.
Well, I paid his bus fare. But
I had toast this morning for my breakfast. Oh, I ate it like a white gunnet.
I had some toast as well.
Oh, that's strange, isn't it? But like Toast Brothers.
Brothers in bread. That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? Brothers in bread.
I remember that TV series called Bread in the 90s.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah.
But
So,
I like toast.
any more on folk tales? What kind of folk tales are you planning to tell in the future?
Well, I'm going to, as you know, I have a rucksack full of fun.
You do?
And
It's a book sack, not a rucksack.
Yeah, well, it's got water and a berry in it. But yeah, I'll have a look through and see what's what. I'd like to do another saga because I think we.
Yeah, if we do need more saga
Yeah.
content, I know we have been promising to do. You've got to start thinking about doing Eggle Saga. and I got to start thinking about doing the Fulson saga, but they're both very daunting.
Yeah,
even more so for
I
you.
was thinking of going to Kevin Crossley-Holland and having a look at that.
Well, sometimes just picking out the shorter stories from the sagas, but
Yeah.
you can only do that by A, looking for the shorter stories or actually reading it. So
Yeah, I'm going to have a load of idiot boards, I'll tell you now before we start.
yeah,
Because it's like the creation saga, it talks about 11 rivers and each one has got a specific thing.
Dr. Jackson Crawford had a video out the other day on the creation myth. And perhaps this could be the point where we could talk about, this is kind of an impromptu vlog, where we've got no set ideas what we're going to talk about.
As you probably gather.
You know, so perhaps we could talk about some of the channels we like to watch, or I like to watch, and you've seen.
Yeah, I like Yesterday channel.
No, I'm talking about on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. I'd be honest,
Odin, Merlin's beard.
yeah, I don't actually watch YouTube.
No, you don't watch it, and that's one of the problems you have is that if you understand YouTube, you've got to watch YouTube, because the only way you can develop, you can learn more by watching.
I actually got it up on my phone.
Yes.
Yes, I did have a phone, and it basically took all my credit, and it was just nonsense, silly things.
Well, you got to specifically search for things to watch.
Don't know if
Channel.
Don't know if they'd let me watch YouTube at the library, because that's basically the only place I can do it.
Well, if we get your pair of headphones, then you could probably watch it there, and you're not far away from the main library. You can plug the headphones in and sit down and do a bit of research on. But sometimes it's good to look at other storytellers and watch them.
I've done research for historical
Yeah.
research. That's a good engine for that. Although you don't necessarily have to believe everything
I mean,
you read.
if you're looking at Viking or Norse mythology, then just look at Dr. Jackson Crawford. I mean, his content's brilliant. Though sometimes it probably can be quite academical, and although they don't seem to be very long pieces, which is good.
Well, I've been
It's accessible. That's the main thing.
I've been what I call chain reading Viking histories. I'm on the fourth one by Richard Hall of the York Archaeological Trust. Nice one, Richard. Haven't seen you in ages. It is a good book. It's very, very technical, and you can't stand to read more than one chapter at night. It gets a bit heavy, but there's some excellent stuff in there. Illustrations of artifacts, of sites, and giving out the dimensions of houses and things.
That's always good. It's always good when you get charts that give you these extra bits of information of what type of goods are found engraved. I always look at that kind of
I was
thing.
reading about the Faroe Islands last night.
Yes, because there are folk tales from the Faroe Islands, and that's something we're not told yet. And another thing we need to think about is Scottish folk tales. We have none of them,
No,
and we only have one folk tales from Wales.
the trouble is, I admit this, when it comes to Irish and Welsh, pronunciation of the names it's a real pain to remember. Sorry to Ireland, sorry to Wales, but I'm just a poor Sassenach.
Yeah, but that's where I tend to go to YouTube and look for that folk tale being told already, and then try to watch a version. But sometimes you don't always have that version available.
I'll tell you one person who's a really good storyteller and doesn't get as much airing, and that's Tony Robinson.
He is a good
Or
storyteller.
should I say Sir Tony
Yes,
Robinson.
he is knighted now. Old Baldric. I have a cunning plan.
Well, he did a story about the ancient Greeks, and the way he told it influenced me a lot. And I thought, so, it made it accessible, and I copied that, so thank you, Tony. And that's the way, if you tell a story and you've got all the long names and these and thous, you're going to put people to sleep.
Yes, that's why, trying to elevate,
You're
change
right,
your pitch of your tone, your speed of your voice.
But also make it accessible. You don't alter the fundamentals of the story, but what you're doing is you're bringing it up to date, so...
Well, in this case, we take a story and we take it back into date. Because the problem is, if you get a more modern folk tale, which is, let's say, set in the 17th or 16th century...
Yeah, but you're missing the point. If you read Greek stories, if you read the Victorian sagas about the Vikings, Wow.
Well, yes, of course.
Yeah, and that's what I meant. And we're taking it back on a level
Yes.
that people understand and appreciate. You know, that-
And what I'm trying to explain is we create our own version.
Oh, yeah.
Basically because of the copyright issue. If you tell a straight version from a book, you're going to have an issue.
Oh,
If
yeah.
it's been published past 1922 or past 1965, during the two dates you've got to think about. When you're looking at telling a folk tale, I mean, a lot of people always ask us about how we research our folk tales and where we find our folk tales.
Yeah.
In this, you know, we have a lot of book sources, but there's also lots of websites that will have lots of folk tales on them as well. So we tend to look at the folk tale and then look for a second or third version of the folk tale. Then I would look in the source notes. I've got to find a book it's been published in before 1922. If it's published before then you're okay. It's not fundamentally protected under copyright. After 1922 to 1965, it's depending on whether the copyright was renewed or not. But by telling our own version, so for instance of a more modern folk tale, sometimes we do tell more modern folk tales on the channel, because some of these folk tales are very good, but we just like to put them back and set it in the dark ages, which is, you know, what we try to do.
As I say in Derbyshire, I got a bird what's squeaking up there. Can you hear it?
I can hear it, yes.
Derbyshire squeaker.
It's not that elusive bobbing we never had on camera yet, is it?
No, that was a pity we didn't get that.
One day.
We had a robin leaping all over the place. We had a wasp, didn't we, last time we were filming?
Yeah, well, on a couple of occasions there has been a wasp on the camera, and what do you do when you're filming and you've got a wasp on your camera? And although, you know, one thing when we film, what we don't do is multi-shots. And do you understand what that is?
What we could do is, where's Wally the wasp?
Yeah.
And one, where's Wally?
Yeah, but do you understand the thing about multi-shots? So let's say you're telling a folk tale, it'll be meaning us recording the same folk tale 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I think they're doing that.
And it's not something I wanted to do too heavily, because
Yeah.
I could be spending all day then just editing one video.
I've done films where you
Yeah.
do one scene 10 times and they'll
I
say,
think we will do some in
Yeah.
the future,
and then they say, one more for the camera.
and I'll probably look to do some what you call jump editing, is where you just quickly go from one scene to another scene. But that could also be another way to tell a folk tale. It's especially like a saga chapter. It's rather than just sit in one place and tell the whole chapter. You start here, you tell a little bit of the chapter. You move from a waltz, you tell the next bit, and then you move from waltz, you tell the last bit, and then you link them all together.
There's one thing later on where we can have whiteboards to show illustrations, because
I don't want to show whiteboards on the video,
yeah,
because then
how am I going to do the rooms?
Well,
There's 24 of them, mate.
yeah, well, we just have a bit of paper with the runes drawn on it.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
You have a whiteboard with a rune on it.
Yeah, I'll figure out something authentic.
You heard it here first.
In my mind, I was just thinking that you just show a rune, just close up.
Okay.
Or I could be off camera and my hand could appear
Excuse me.
with the rune in front of the camera and then disappear.
It's a bit sooty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sooty and
Hello, I'm Boom Hand.
Hello, good evening and welcome.
sweet. Yes,
Of course,
yes,
Jeffrey died this
Yeah.
week.
Poor old Jeffrey Hayes.
Jeffrey Hayes, yeah.
I liked his programme Rainbow. Zippy and George were my heroes. I liked it. It was how the world should be, but never will be.
My mate James was always very much like Sippy. who I
Well,
grew up with.
do you remember that guy in the bookshop who used to write songs for Rod Jane and
Yes.
Yeah. I can't remember his
Ian.
name. Ian.
Yes.
But,
Very nice man he was.
Yeah. Oh, I got on well with him.
He did, yeah.
But,
Less said the better.
well, he lives in Chesterfield. That's what he did. That's a long time ago now, isn't it?
Yes, I got his business card somewhere, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I found it a few months back. Anyway, that's an old subject. So let's continue before we end this vlog. Today's vlog isn't going to be a long vlog, and next week we're going to get back on track with the general theme of the vlogs and bring back the riddle. We're going to talk about a folklore subject and maybe talk about something else. If you have any suggestions for topics we can talk about or subjects we can cover in the vlogs, then please leave it in a comment. I would really appreciate that, and I'm sure Egg will.
Sure, yeah. The more comments, the better.
Yeah, so let's just talk about vlogging. So now that you've nearly done 20 vlogs,
Yeah,
what do you think about it?
it's good fun. It's nice to have the one-to-one. You say it's not a long flog, but it's about 3 foot long.
Well, the bench is about 3 foot long.
Or a metre for those in. That's 3 foot. But it sort of reminds me of the DJs you get on Radio 1, you know.
We're not smashing a knife, are we?
Just do the charity. But I enjoy.
Disco. I can't remember how it goes though.
What would Turner on the drawing? You know, it's. If you imagine the camera as a person, you're just having them 1-to-1. Or in this case, 2-to-1.
Well, yes, I think that's one of the ways when you record is that you have to think of the camera as being a person. And I know one of the problems we do have is that we don't always look at the camera enough. And it's easier said than done that. I don't know if you find it difficult looking at the camera at times.
I've tried harder this time to look at it, but
it also makes it a lot easier for the thumbnail.
what I like also is it humanises us, and we can contact our audience in that we're not just these actors who flounce on and then flounce off. We give a little bit about what we're doing in our lives, and I hope that we come across as everyday people.
I mean, I don't think we're ever going to be one of those vlog channels where we're going to take you shopping to Sainsbury's or you know, do it. Some channels
I
just
got
record.
the money for a start.
Some channels just record everything they do.
Yeah.
But you know, this is just more of a impromptu sit down and relaxing chat with us both, and
it's to let you know that not all actors are darling.
You know, we're not a vlogging channel in a sense. There's a lot of channels who vloggers are just vloggers.
Yeah.
We do so much more on that, you know, with our trailer reviews and our folk tales.
Well, we have a bit of fun,
you know, and it is about having fun.
Let's be honest. I mean, I'm unemployed, and basically it fills the days up, and having fun. It also stretches the imagination, makes me do research.
Yes.
Which is important. And you know, we get queries every now and then. As I say, I don't always get it right, but I'll admit to it and sort it.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the problems, especially when you're on live on camera, is that you are going to make mistakes. I mean, I think one of the mistakes you would in the last live stream is that I think you're getting your information about Saxons wrong. Because I think the information has recently been updated, so perhaps we need to look at that a bit more in detail and make a video on Saxons. I don't know a great deal about it off memory.
Probably out of date because, as I say, I learned at university.
Yes, so if we do make mistakes, it's because you know a lot of our knowledge we learned years ago.
Well, to be honest, we didn't actually know. We knew there was a god called Saxon.
Yes.
But who he was, what he did. And I think there was an early version of Thor, possibly.
Yeah, well, that's what they often talk about in the early research. They say they're comparing to Thor, and they think he's Thor, or they're comparing to thinking that saying he's Odin, but he's a separate god in his own right. He's Saxon. And I think more research over the last few years has kind of pointed towards that. But that will be a video we will do in the future as well, because we do intend to cover all the gods, you know. But it just takes so much time, you know, and I prefer to take more time to do it than get it right, rather than to rush and not get it right, you know. So we are continually always thinking about improving the content, which is good, and especially since we've had a decent camera, thanks to Anthony for lending it to us. That has really revolutionised the channel, and you can see this very shortly when you compare this video or the videos recently to the first of the 400 sub shout out videos, because most of that was done in the old camera.
Hopefully we'll get Anthony on to show Viking.
It'd be great to see you on here, Anthony.
He does look like Ragnar Lothbrok from the Viking series.
Call you Ragnar you like.
Yeah, well, call him what you like. He's
got to get him a Viking name.
Yeah, look, Steve.
Oh, I'm a Viking called Dave.
Yeah, Albrecht.
Yeah, no.
Why not? So anyway.
So for now, I think that's going to be the end of this vlog. I'm not sure how long we've been. Well, that's lucky for some people, you know. How to fly in my soup once, but I didn't complain. Anyway, kind of subject there. Oh, there's a fly in my broth, Eggle.
Yeah, and he's been drinking it.
Yeah, he spit it out.
Yeah.
No, that's when it lands in your beer. You got to get it to spit it out.
Hence the lid on.
Because that's a joke from Game of Thrones. That. Yes,
also,
I've got a lid. I'm posh. I can put a lid on mine. We'll put it again. Oh,
he spills water.
Merlin's beard.
I don't know.
Anyway, For now, this is the end of this vlog, and next week the vlogs will be back to normal, we hope.
Okay.
So, and don't forget to leave us a comment and to share it with your friends.
Whoa.
Not gonna ring up my finger now.
Okay. I'm the sensible one today. So, till we meet again. Fahil.
What's hail?
Yep. Bye.